I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm gonna tell y'all anyway. Romania is an uncut gem. I'm an American who's been living out here for a little bit over a month now, and I'm absolutely loving my time here in Romania. I feel like this country gets a little bit overshadowed over some of the other tourist destinations, but I'm here to tell y'all this country, it's beautiful. My goal is to convince y'all to consider booking a flight here to Romania to travel this beautiful country.
Previously on Ready to Die.
Charleston Chew, an underrated candy bar. This is a Charleston classic, Towson against Xavier. Juwan Gray from Towson.
Over 100%. What's going on, everybody? It's the real Juan back here, tapping into another video, giving you my thoughts and impressions and even some culture shocks on my experience out here in Romania. So if you haven't been following me and you're not familiar with me, my name is Juwan. I'm an American who's actually been living in Romania for a little bit over a month now, and I play professional basketball. Last year I was in Sweden for my rookie year, and this year I'm in year 2 playing basketball in the beautiful country of Romania, and I'm absolutely loving it. So enough with all that talking, we're gonna go ahead and get right into this thing. So first and foremost, when I first heard of the opportunity to potentially be playing in Romania for a year, I'm not gonna lie to you, my mind was a little bit all over the place because I had little to no prior knowledge on the country of Romania. The first thing I did was do a quick Google search. And the first thing that I saw was that it's a bordering country of Ukraine. So I was kind of skeptical right there because this was around the time where Ukraine, they got invaded by, I believe it was Russia, and I could see it all over social media. People saying pray for Ukraine and like they got bombed. So I'm like, yo, you know, it kind of alarmed me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But even prior to that, like my impressions of Romania was extremely ignorant and inaccurate. So when I was thinking of Romania, I was thinking of a country that was extremely impoverished. You know, there's gonna be abandoned buildings everywhere, buildings on fire, like people looting. Like, I don't know why I thought that, but that's just like the ignorance that I had on this country prior to me coming here. But that was far from the truth. Romania is like a picturesque country in terms of like nature. So just imagine like majestic mountains or lush green forests. So it is like the perfect place for nature enthusiasts. To be honest, it's kind of like breathtaking. It's something that I've never seen before. Like the views are crazy. So we would take this bus to go on a road trip because we had an away game. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I was kind of nervous because first of all, we have to drive on a super high mountain and the roads are extremely narrow. We're driving this huge bus and the roads kind of looks like it can only fit one vehicle at a time, but the views were extremely scenic, and it's something that I will remember for an extremely long time. And along with the natural beauty of this country, like the architecture is second to none, and it's actually some of like the most impressive buildings I've ever seen in my life. There are plenty of different tourist attractions like Dracula's Castle, which I've never been to, but I'm going there soon. Old Town Brasov and the Black Church, which is actually in Old Town Brasov. So when I actually get a chance to go and see those landmarks with my own eyes, I kind of think about what it was like during that time. Another thing that I love about living in Romania is that it is extremely cheap to live out here for my standards. If you're an American and you're coming out here to travel or even to live, you'll be surprised how much a US dollar can go here, because I believe the conversion is 5 lei to 1 USD. And on top of that, the housing out here is cheap. In the last video I had, I took y'all on an apartment tour. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and check it out. But I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment in a super populated area in my city. So we're surrounded by restaurants, we're close to a mall, there's a university nearby, and I'm paying 580 euros. Translates to about like 630 USD, like somewhere around there. So if you're an American watching this, like you would probably do anything to pay $630 for the month in rent, especially at these times where housing prices continue to go up and the wages aren't increasing at the same rate as the housing. So $630 for my situation is a steal. Along with the low cost of housing to my standards, the food out here is amazing and is for a reasonable to cheap price. So you can get full-size meals out here for like $8 USD, which is a steal, bro. Like, I've been loving the food out here. And to be honest, I'm actually a little bit guilty because I've been out here in Romania so long, but I can't recall the time where I've actually sat down and had a traditional Romanian dish. So for my Romanian viewers, please don't get upset at me. What I am gonna need y'all to do is list down in the comments some of the Romanian dishes that I need to try before I leave here in Romania. Because I do want to try some of the food, I just don't know what to try yet. And soup must be like an extremely common course out here in Romania because I've ate more soup here within my first 1.5 to 2 months than in my entire life. Like, you literally have soup with like every meal. But these pastries out here though, man, let me tell you, like, these are some of the best like desserts and snacks I've ever tasted. Like, there's this apple strudel, right? Breaded on the outside, of course, but on the inside there's apples in there. And on the top they use powdered sugar and they serve it hot. So when you take a bite, bro, I promise you, it'll make all your troubles go away for the entire day. That's how good this pastry is. And to be honest, that's not even my favorite one. It's something out here that's called langos. I think that's how I'm saying it. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but if you've never had a langos, you need to go try it. They serve it with different toppings, but my personal favorite is the langos with chocolate. So a langos, right, it's a deep fried flatbread. So just imagine like it's in circular shape. They put like Nutella chocolate on the inside. They fold it up into fours, throw a little bit of powdered sugar on top, and bon appetit. Like, that's my go-to right now. And to be honest with you, I need to stop eating it because that's gonna be the death of me, bro. Like, deep fried flatbread with chocolate and powdered sugar on top, like, that's just diabetes waiting to happen. But yo, I just have to eat it in moderation. I can't be eating it every day because that can get dangerous. It can get ugly real quick. Like I mentioned, with the cost of living being pretty cheap, like, I don't have a car out here, so my transportation is using Uber, and I have a bus pass, so that gets me around the city. I don't really mind having those two options, like, because to be honest, I don't feel safe out here driving with the car because they drive reckless out here. To the Romanians, it may seem normal, but I feel like the driving is like chaotic because there's a lot of roundabouts in this country. You know, there's a 3-lane roundabout. Mind you, there's somebody on the inside lane, the middle lane, and on the outside lane. A lot of the times I see somebody that's on the inside lane, they need to turn right. And so they cut off all these cars. They cut off the middle lane, they cut off the right lane in order to make their turn to go where they need to go. That just doesn't seem like a lot of structure to me. So if I had a car out here, I probably wouldn't drive. So I use Uber and I use a bus pass. The bus pass, it's cheap to my standards. For the entire month, you pay 80 lei, which is $18 USD, to go anywhere in the city. And for the Ubers, yo, it is so clutch. Typically when I call an Uber for that's like a 10 to 15 minute ride, it's usually about like 10 to 14 lei, which is about $2.50. And I feel like that's a steal. Also, it is easy to navigate out here in Romania because for the most part, everybody speaks English, and that's something that I'm super grateful for, because if I was in a country where nobody spoke English, I would be losing my mind. I wouldn't be able to communicate properly with anybody. I would have to use Google Translate everywhere I went to try to, you know, purchase something. That would be extremely difficult for me. But out here in Romania, for the most part, everybody speaks English. If you were a tourist out here in Romania and you were having trouble navigating to a certain landmark or a restaurant that you wanted to go find a young person, because 9 times out of 10, they will be able to help you if you were to speak to them in English. Because from what some of my teammates have told me, they actually start learning English here in like the 1st grade. So if you find somebody of the younger generation, most of the time they would be able to help you. So I even do this like right now. A few days ago, I was in the grocery store and I was looking for baking soda and vinegar so I can like wash like my produce, and I didn't know where to find it. Luckily, there was this girl. She was probably about like, you know, between the ages of 15 and 18. I asked her if she knew where the baking soda was, and she pointed me in the direction where it was. So I found it and I thanked her. I may end up trying to learn Romanian soon, but I'm just kind of unmotivated because most of the people speak English here, and that's such a major commitment to learn a new language, and especially like not one of the popular languages where I'll probably learn it and then lose it if I don't come back to Romania. You feel me? So I'm kind of like up in the air about it, but right now I'm leaning towards, just relying on my English. So another impression that I've noticed since I've lived in Romania is that cigarettes are everywhere. And I've heard some of the stories about how smoking is pretty common amongst Europe, but I didn't really experience that much last year in Sweden. But now in Romania, bro, it's like a fashion trend, bro. Everybody is smoking, whether it's teenagers, whether it's people middle age, whether it's older people. It's like, cigarettes is everywhere, and it seems like it's a symbol of acceptance or like status, like, I'm cool that I'm smoking a cigarette. And people gonna do what they gonna do, but one thing I don't like is that when I'm sitting outside at a restaurant waiting to eat my food and there's people all over, at separate tables throughout the restaurant, they're literally lighting up, smoking. I'm inhaling all of that cigarette smoke. That's wild to me. Like, I feel sick afterward. I feel like, for me personally, I may be exaggerating, but I feel like my lungs, like, they getting black, and I don't even smoke. So it's gonna take some getting used to if you come out here to Romania. So another impression that I have about Romania is that just like every other place in the world, every other country, every other city, there's poverty. But I feel like noticing the poverty here kind of like hit me a little bit different. Just like everywhere in the world, like you see families who don't have the means financially, or even, they don't know where the next meal may come from. I've kind of noticed that out here, and I've even seen like some parents kind of like put their children up to like hustling and asking people for money. I'm not speaking from anybody else's experience, but I will speak from mine. I was sitting at a pizza restaurant. There was this kid who like came up to me. He was like, "Oh, do you have one lei?" One lei is $1 of their currency. And I'm like, I don't have any money on me because I don't carry cash. Like, I just use a card for like all of my transactions. I was like, I don't have no cash on me, but what I can do is I can give you some food. So I tried to offer him like my pizza, and he didn't want it. He just wanted the money. And then I saw him like go back to his parents. I kind of like felt bad for the kid and also for the family, because like the parents, they're putting their children up to go like try to get some of the money, because typically like people would feel bad, for a kid coming up to them to ask them for money. I did what I could do to help in that situation, but that's something that it kind of like really rubbed me the wrong way. And the last little impression that I'll leave you with, if you are a tourist and you're worried about your safety out here in Romania, like, there is no need to worry. If you do a quick Google search, you will go find that Romania is one of the safest countries in all of Europe. And I know safety is a big concern for a lot of people. There's unfortunate times where you can see tourists go to different countries and they experience blatant racism, or even like possibly getting kidnapped and like murdered. Like, we see it a lot. My wife, she's real big on safety and she's always alert, but she's one of the people where if she is threatened, she's gonna be threatened. Like, she's not gonna go anywhere. But over this past like month and a half, like, she's been comfortable enough to start, moving and navigating by herself. She's always cautious, but there's not really much for her to worry about. People really be minding their own business. Like, they go about their day and they don't bother anybody. I've been living here for about a month and a half now, and I haven't had any experiences where I felt unsafe. And I know that may not mean a lot coming from me, because I'm a 6'8" black man, and that may be kind of intimidating to some people. But I've noticed people really be minding their own business. Like, there's people outside walking at 12 o'clock at night, not worried that somebody's gonna rob them or jump them or even possibly get murdered. Like, there's not really a lot of that you see out here. I rarely see police cars out here. I rarely see people being interrogated by the police. So I feel that it's an extremely comfortable place to be, where you don't have to worry about your safety. Mind you, I haven't really got a chance to travel to a lot of the different cities because we haven't played that much yet, so we haven't got a chance to travel that much. So there's different places that you can visit, like Bucharest, Brasov, which is where I'm living, Cluj, and various other cities. So if you're thinking about possibly adding Romania to your bucket list of travel destinations, please let me know down in the comments, because I'm very curious to know. And if you have visited Romania or even live here, let me know down below on different things that you suggest that I should try, or different places where I should travel to. I'm more than willing to consider your opinions. So I can make the most out of my experience out here living in Romania. Thank y'all for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because I'll be having a lot more dope content dropping for y'all. And until next time, peace. Juan out of here.